the power of sacred Sanskrit, or Samskrita. In Sanskrit, the word Sanskrit is pronounced Samskrita. Kruta, from the root verb kru, to do. And kruta then is that which is done. Sam, the prefix, is about bringing things together to a harmonious whole. So a language system that is perfectly well constructed. That is the essential meaning of the word Samskrita. And in a related fashion, the word for the culture of a civilization is Samskriti. A culture that is consciously constructed to support civilization. So really, Samskrita as a language system has an extraordinary conscious design within it for not only including all the common sounds that our entire vocal apparatus can make. They are organized into a system of elaborate vowel sounds. There are 16 of them. For instance, refers to the 15 visual phases of the moon that also include the new moon and the full moon and everything in between. But that's 15. And then you have the plus one for the eternal fullness of the moon as an embodied experience for us. And so they use 16 vowel sounds as a sonic vibrational stream of consciousness manifesting into multiplicity. So that is the underlying framework for even why we have 16 vowel sounds in Sanskrit. So Nada Yoga, or the yoga of sacred sound, sacred inner current, the inner current of sound, which then is directly related to the ascending, descending passage of the Kundalini awareness within us, is embedded the subtle currents of sonic passageways for sacred sound that has been articulated in specific ways that were received by the sages or seers of ancient times, the rishis, who received this as conscious revelation. And because conscious revelation in the Vedas is spoken of as that which is heard, Shruti, that which is heard. So it links our manifested reality again to sacred sound. And so the vowel sounds of Sanskrit are a prime example of the manifested multiplicity of that eternal oneness. And then we come to the consonant sounds. We have a system of 25 consonant sounds, which are organized in 5 sets of 5. And they depend on how we articulate those sounds in different parts of the palate and the tongue and the teeth. And so there are sounds that are guttural, way in the back of the throat. There are sounds that we call palatal, where the tongue is in a relaxed way touching the roof of the mouth. And then we have the cerebral sounds, or the retroflex sounds, where the tip of the tongue is pressing against the highest part of the roof of the mouth. And next we have the dental sounds, where the tongue is placed behind the teeth. And last of all, we have the labial sounds, where the lips are used consciously to articulate 5 sounds. So there's 5 sets of 5 consonants. So 25 consonants, which in the sacred realm of the vibrational universe that emanates from a sonic vibrational source still exhibits all of the manifesting power, the glory of the oneness through the multiplicity. First you have the 25 consonants, which are linked to the consciously to the 5 throat positions, which are then linked to categories of existence from the Hindu cosmological framework that we call Sankhya, which is the bedrock of classical yoga and tantric yoga. And so we then have 4 semi-vowels, and then we have a set of 4 sounds called the sibilants. And so in Sanskrit we have 3 variations of that sound, sa, sha, and sha, which while we speak in English we don't distinguish so much between the retroflex cerebral sound sha versus the palatal sound sha, sha, which is the sound we use most often in Sanskrit as a sibilant next to the sa, or the dental sound. Sha, for instance, the palatal sound is used in terms like Shiva, Shakti, Shavasana. So the tongue is flat against the palate, and the more relaxed it can be, the more that sound can take us deeper through the sound emanation itself into more relaxed states. And the last sibilant is ha, which is the sound of pure breath. So in tantric yoga, that is called the prana of Shiva himself. Moving from the earth realm, because in order to make that sound, you have to use the entire abdominal force to move the breath sound through the vocal cords and bring it out to the throat chakra. So moving from the earth realm to the water realm, to the fire realm, to the air realm, and to the space realm of the embodied 5 chakras. So this is the reason why the conscious reciting of the Sanskrit alphabet itself is a sacred yogic practice. And every time we articulate a sound consciously and in present moment awareness, we are making that a mindful yogic practice. And in addition to that, when we are aware of these sounds and which aspects of the cosmology of existence they represent, and not only do they just represent in the way we speak of in English as something that's a symbol of, we've already created that separation, that distance between subject and object awareness when we say something is a symbol of, something is a representation of. But in the Sanskrit yogic practice of sacred sound, a sound is a manifestation of the inner reality of existence. Not just a symbol, not just an index, not just a representation. It is that source, vibrational oneness of the universe, manifesting in all its glorious multiplicity into the denser levels of existence through the realm of sound waves, our capacity to hear and our capacity to speak. So it is that oneness of the source carrying its entire consciousness through the sonic stream into our conscious awareness. And because this is a conscious system that was put into place by self-realized sages who received the sacred wisdom of these Sanskrit as a divine hearing and then brought it into what we call smriti, the aspect of culture which allows us to articulate, communicate, transmit, remember, reflect upon. So our practice with sacred Sanskrit starts with the smriti realm to make those conscious connections through remembering, the sounds within Om. Om represents the ultimate sonic ultimate reality of the universe, that one consciousness. And I may start by saying it represents, because I don't know right away how to go into that realm of being that, of manifesting that. But I can begin by relating to it intellectually. And so the journey through sacred Sanskrit and its use in the practice of mantra, in the practice of yoga, of even the names of the asanas, the names of the pranayamas, the yogic terminology that suffuses many, many sacred teachings of yoga, as well as the names of deities, and therefore how we pronounce them, whether it be a lovely kirtan or chant that we love to sing along with or lead, as well as if we have a mantra practice, then how to consciously articulate with its fullest precision and placement of the tongue in the vocal apparatus, at the same time learning a bit more about what are these sounds linked to in the categories of existence. And slowly we begin to embody within ourselves the manifestation of that oneness into the multiplicity within ourselves. So this is how important pronunciation has to do, not just in Sanskrit, but any conscious language system. The conscious establishment of such a system of sacred language and articulation has existed in India unbroken ever since all of the Indus Valley civilization and what we call the Saraswati Valley civilization, the Vedic period to the Upanishadic period, into the age of Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita, and then into the Tantric age, where within the Tantric age, especially starting around the 3rd century and accelerating between the 5th and 11th centuries, the theological teachings of Tantra Yoga, embodying the power of mantra and yantra as sacred geometry, and the essential characteristic of having a deity, devata, and the chosen deity of the heart as Ishta Devata, and therefore then going into that state of longing connection to the deity through mantra practice, through the adoring songs of kirtan practice, are all embedded fundamentally in the precise, correct pronunciation of the sacred language system of Sanskrit or Samskrita. Thank you.